The eye that you see on the pyramid is the third eye. The third eye is the human mind. Your mind can go in the past and the future, therefore it exists outside of this physical world, outside of time. The pineal gland is not the third eye, it's the radio receiver for your invisible intelligence, the mind. The more you dwell in your mind instead of the external world, the more you unlock. When you dream and leave this realm of thought, you are in a whole other realm. You can evolve physically and you can also evolve mentally, accessing other worlds and realms. There are 9 numbers because there are 9 dimensions. The word dimension has men in it, which means mind or mentality. This is where the word man comes from. It's Latin for mind, because man is not the physical body, it's the invisible mind. Cats can see into all 9 dimensions. This is why the Egyptians always symbolized them. Vatican symbols are key. The Vatican is a key because they give you religion to make you look outside of yourself, because they hide the key, and the key is within you to access the other worlds. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth was telling you this. The key to the worlds within thee are found only within. Entertainment, entertain the mind. They want you looking outside of yourself constantly. This is why they have all of these platforms. Luke 17:12, the kingdom of God is within you. The comment that gets 0 likes will win a free book of wisdom. You're stuck within the cage, the rib cage. You're in a prison cell because you're made out of cells. You are hexed in physical matter. This is the X, the hex. The hexagram's a cube unfolded is the cross. You need to escape the physical world, the 3-dimensional matrix, which is the world of Satan, because Satan gives you the mark of the beast, the physical body, the 666 carbon suit, and then blinds your mind. Your mind is completely separate from the physical world. Through physical pleasures and lack of understanding of yourself, you think your mind is part of your physical body, when in reality they are 2 separate things. Your mind is completely separate from your physical body. The physical world is a dimension within your mind. Men means mind, mental. Mind in Latin means mens. In order to escape the 3-dimensional physical world, you have to fully detach your mind from your body. Meditation is key in transcending the 3D world and traveling the depths of your mind. Mind and matter is one. They are different dimensions within your mind. When you dream, your mind creates matter. This is why mind and matter are one. The cube is the shape that gives rise to physical matter. The link is in my bio for the Book of Wisdom, paperback and PDF. Back in the medieval times, they practiced magic and witchcraft. There's something called the occult virtue of things, meaning everything has its own power. A bear is very strong, an owl stays up very late, a dog has heightened smell. They would rip out the heart of an animal to gain its virtue. If they wanted to stay up all night, they'd carry the heart of an owl. If they wanted more strength, they'd carry the heart of a bear. Now fast forward to today. The meat industry is massive. Are they feeding us all this meat to keep us locked in our animal nature? Because humans, we're more than just animals. We possess self-awareness, we can question reality, and we can elevate to something beyond our instincts. The mind is connected to beyond physicality, but if we're constantly consuming flesh, we're being kept in this lower instinctual nature. Forest is for rest. You are electromagnetic. Disease shows in your energy field before it shows up in your physical body. Illness vibrates on a low frequency. If you are low frequency with the food and the thoughts and emotions you feel, your energy will then match the low frequency where illness exists. But if you raise your vibration of your energy, positive thoughts, good emotions, and healthy food, you will not vibrate on the same frequency as illness. You will never become sick. You are an energetic being. Everything exists as a vibration. Trees emit high energy. Forest is for rest because it neutralizes and balances your energy. Plus, looking at all the different color spectrums in nature is very healing for your eyes. Everything is made lifeless for a reason. Lower your frequency and dull your mind. Organs are organisms because every organ has consciousness, can think with them. When you're horny, you think with your reproductive organs. When you're hungry, you think with your gut. This is why your head's called a temple, because the head is the temple of God. God is the creative power within you. Your soul is in hell when your soul is thinking with these lower brains. You unlock God when you unlock your creative power by raising your thoughts and awareness to your brain instead of dwelling in the survival brains and becoming a conscious creator. Thank you to everyone who's left amazing reviews on my book. You do not see into reality. The eyes are black holes. They suck in the light in the images produced at the back of the brain called the visual cortex. This is because the universe is a mental projection, and it's the #1 law in the Kabbalion that all is mind, the universe is mental. You never actually feel the external world. When you touch something, this is your brain's interpretation of electrical signals on your nervous system. You touch, taste, smell, hear, and see with your brain. You're not in the world. The world is being simulated from the brain and the body. It's a piece of technology. Your body is the earth. The sun is your soul. The moon represents your mind. You are the universal mind, the observer behind your thoughts, emotions, and senses. There is only one of us in the universe, and that is God. The one consciousness is what gives life to every single living life form. Satan does not exist. Mark of the beast is 3 6s. 3 represents the 3 aspects of consciousness: thought, emotion, action. Cubes have 6 sides: up, down, left, right, backwards, forwards. 6 represents the physical world. 666 is you, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are all going towards your physical world, cutting off your spirituality, turning you into the beast, turning the pentagram upside down, placing spirit on the very bottom. Satanists do not worship Satan, worship the material world and what it has to offer. They're actually worshipping their physical self. The sun is electric, the moon is magnetic. The sun is positively charged, giving you energy. The moon is negatively charged, taking away your energy. The sun and moon are the yin and yang moving around the magnetic North Pole. It's called the North Pole because it's a pole of electromagnetic energy. Above the North Pole is Polaris, the center star. The 7 planets are the 7 days of creation. Monday for the moon, Sunday for the sun, Saturday for Saturn, Thursday for Thor, which is the god of Jupiter. Sky is a giant clock. Stars tell you the month of the year. The moon tells you the day of the month. The sun tells you the time of the day. They want you to think you're on a random ball in space. Stars are not physical. Earth, water, air, fire, ether. Ether is the gateway between the physical and the spiritual realm. Daytime, you're in your physical body. When you dream, you're in your astral body. Now you know why the ancients always show you paintings of people flying in the sky. Because this is all symbolic of people in the astral plane, in the higher dimensions above our head. They told you the planets were physical to hide these higher dimensions that you have access to. What is the meaning behind these Freemasonic symbols? First of all, we have the compass. This is the cherry on top. It's the most important one. First, we must understand these. First off, we have the left pillar, Jachin. Sometimes the sun on the top, sometimes the earth on the top. Earth or the sun represents matter, what you can visibly see. The right pillar with B, Boaz, with the stars or the moon on top. This represents what you cannot see. External physical world, internal world of consciousness. The inner and the outer are mirrors of each other. Your current life circumstances are a manifestation of every thought you thought in the past. It also represents polarity, male and female. The brain, intellect, masculine. The heart, emotion, feminine. A compass creates circles, feminine. The square creates lines, masculine. Make the most out of life and make great decisions. The intellect must be in sync with the emotion. Remember that time when your head told you something but your heart was telling you something else? They need to be in sync, which is the square and the compass together. But this represents all duality. We need to balance the inside world with the outside world. Don't get too attached to the external. Don't be overly spiritual. Balance spirit and matter. Balancing the brain with the heart. It represents balance in all areas of your consciousness. People ask why? What's the point? Because this is how you gain your personal power. You are a creator. You've been creating your whole life consciously or unknowingly. In order to create with efficiency, you must balance every aspect of the self. 13 is not unlucky. They made you scared. Jesus has 12 disciples. He is the 13th. 1 plus 3 is 4. You have a fourfold nature, a mind, spirit, emotion, and body. This is why he has 4 gospels. Mark shows Jesus as a spiritual teacher. John shows Jesus as an emotional creature, water into wine. Matthew shows Jesus as a mental body, where he's intellectual and communicative. And Luke shows Jesus as a human being, where he does physical things for other people. 13 represents human consciousness. They have demonized it. That's why the word sacred is scared rearranged. They made you scared of all the sacred symbols. Water is emotion, air is the mind, earth is the body, and fire is the spirit. The Bible is filled with metaphors, cryptograms, astrological codes, and numerological codes. Jesus never existed. He represents you. He represents God made flesh. You are an extension of God's consciousness. Watch this YouTube video to find out. You don't go to hell because you sinned, not because you didn't believe in God, but because your soul was still chained to the physical world. Your body is stripped when you die, leaving your inner world of thought and emotion. If your soul is still craving physical pleasures, sex, money, fame, then you will suffer in your own suffering, because in spirit you can't fulfill the physical desires of the physical plane. Monks shave their heads, abandon the material world, not out of fear, but to free themselves before death. I'm not saying go full monk mode, but find balance. Enjoy life. Enjoy the pleasures of the world. Just don't let them own you. Love your family, but not attached to it, because one day you will leave this world behind. Everything is temporary, and your consciousness needs to be in the correct state in order to ascend. Hell is not a real place, but your own suffering in the afterlife. Join my Telegram in the bio. The Egyptian gods never existed. They symbolize the sun in the 4 different states. Horus is the sun when it's rising. Horizon, Horus is rising. Word hours rearranged is Horus. Ra is the sun when it's radiant, when the sun is the most high, 12 noon. Set is the sun at 6 p.m. when the sun sets. Yearly cycle is a daily cycle. Spring is 6 a.m. Summer is 12. Autumn is when the sun sets. Nighttime is winter. Horus and Set is Jesus and Satan. Set, the ground animal, lower self. Horus, the bird, the air animal, the higher self. Egyptian scarab is a dung beetle. Rolls dung up and then down the hill, representing the sun rising and falling, hence why the Egyptians used the sun above him. The Vatican is a sundial, because Jesus is the sun with his 12 disciples. Take a look at this masterpiece. This is 1,900 years old, containing a hologram effect. Proof that we were far more advanced than what we are led to believe in our history. The moon is a soul trap that makes you reincarnate. We live in a soul system, not a solar system. No one's trying to trap your soul. Let me explain. The moon does in fact trap your soul, and yes, it does reincarnate you, but it's not how you think it works. You have to understand that you are a physical being and you have an astral body. Astral body is the body you use when you dream and when you imagine. Imagination is a dimension. There are 7 layers to the astral plane, which are the 7 planets. Moon at the bottom, Saturn at the top, and the sun in the middle. When you die, you are stripped of your physical body, left with thought and emotion inside the astral plane, imagination. Imagination is your biggest power when you die. If you die with your mind and emotions still attached to addiction, sex, lust, and the material things of the world, then you will manifest in the lower astral plane, where low vibrational thoughts and imaginations take place, which is governed by the moon. Most souls in this physical world are attached to physical pleasure, and when they die, they manifest in the moon on the lower astral plane because they still desire the physical plane. When you are there and you can't fulfill your physical desire, you will reincarnate yourself. In order to ascend to the higher astral planes, we must detach from the external world before we die. If your soul is detached from the world, then you will merge with the sun. Hence why Jesus says, you can only reach the Father if you go through me. Jesus is the sun, and when you die, your light body will attach to one of the planets depending on your level of awareness. The moon is not a soul trap, it's not reincarnating you. You get yourself there by not preparing for death. Depression doesn't actually exist, and I'm going to prove it to you, that you're actually choosing to become depressed, right? So what you need to understand is about depression, is that depression is a part of the thinking mind. Now let me break this down for you so you can understand. You have a thinking mind, what we call the conscious mind. And inside this conscious mind, you have your name, your job, your reputation, your body, your trauma, your memories, your family, your interests, your bills. But what happens if you turn off that thinking mind? What is left? Well, you're left with you. You probably never thought about this. Who's the observator of this? Who's observing your thoughts? If you turn off your thoughts, you're no longer your name, your belief system, nothing. You're left with consciousness, you're left with the soul, and that's the true you, and that's what you need to connect with. You know that void that you have in your heart sometimes when you just feel horrible? It's because you're not doing what this is saying. We all have this feeling inside of us that tells us the right thing to do at all times. And if we do not connect with that, that is why we are depressed. That is the soul screaming out. So, my people, learn how to meditate if you have depression. I've been there, okay? And I promise you, depression does not exist. It's a choice. And when you learn to gain that off switch with your mind, you can turn depression off. Because depression is part of the thinking mind. You have to learn how to switch off the mind and control your thoughts. Placing your hands together completes the electrical circuit of your body. Your hands are manifestations of your brain hemispheres. The left hand is the right brain, the creative one. The right hand is the left brain, the logical one. Tate uses these mudras as a technique to merge the brain hemispheres, to merge logic with creativity. Most people are trapped in their logical mind because society programs you that way. You're taught to use your right hand in writing to strengthen the left hemisphere, trapping you in logic, dulling creativity. Christianity, nuns are forced to write with their right hand to strengthen the left hemisphere. Hence why it's called writing. Sounds like the right. They need you using the right side of your body to keep you in logic. Look at prayer. We place our hands together in prayer. This stems from an ancient form of meditation of placing the hands together to sync the brain hemispheres, to unlock consciousness. Because when the brain hemispheres work as one electrical system, consciousness expands. The mind becomes unified. Join my Telegram in the bio. Why is it astronauts always do this symbolism? These are the only 3 monkey emojis. It symbolizes speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. Have you ever seen something horrible and it makes you shiver? Light is information. It enters the brain through the retinas of your eyes. This information affects your whole nervous system. Everything you see, touch, taste, hear and smell positively or negatively affects your nervous system and contributes towards shaping and molding your mind. And your mind shapes your reality. Astronauts do this because they're Freemasons and they know everything that enters them is shaping them in some form. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, people. Females are magnetic, they attract. Males are electric, they are the action taker. Everything is electromagnetic. Trees resemble brains. Their branches mirror electricity, which looks exactly like your nervous system because you are an electric technological being. The same fractal patterns appear on leaves, rivers, lightning. The sun gives life to the earth. Your soul gives life to your body. The sun is the universal soul. The day is life, the night is death. When you sleep, you enter your spirit, astral body, death. When you're awake, you enter your material body, life. Death is just a greater version of sleep. That's why we say sleep is the cousin of death. You are the universe in miniature, a fragment of God. This is a very strong magnet. When we pour liquid nitrogen on it, nothing happens between the 2 magnetic poles. When we pour liquid oxygen on it, there is an attraction between the 2 magnetic poles. This proves there is electromagnetic energy within oxygen. This is why the word breath means spirit, because when we breathe deeply and do breath meditation, we strengthen our electromagnetic field, which is your spirit, your spiral. Breathing exercises sends oxygen, which is energy, to the brain and stimulates the pineal gland. You can quite literally trip off your breath because your lungs produce DMT, and when you breathe deeply, you can activate a mystical experience or an out-of-body experience during meditation. So when you breathe deeply for long periods of time, you will feel yourself going lightheaded because you're activating your consciousness, you're awakening your pineal gland and your spirit. Whatever you do, stop breathing through your mouth. I want you to ask yourself something. How does this embryo grow a nervous system? How does it know what to do? What's the intelligence behind it? Well, my friend, this is the same intelligence that's telling your heart to beat right this second, that's telling your stomach to digest food without you being conscious of it. This is what we call the subconscious. Our subconscious mind is connected to an infinite intelligence. It's amazing how God works. Did you know the 7 deadly sins are 7 blocked chakras? And a sin is not an action. You have an etheric energy body. The emotions are energy in motion. If you feel any of these emotions, you waste the etheric life force that's feeding your body. These emotions can quite literally aid you because your body's being fed by this life force. Sin is not an action, but a force that you cultivate within yourself that disrupts the life force within you. Now, I'm not saying that you go out and work on these chakras. These chakras are a result of your own mind. If you gain mastery over your mind, your emotions will fall in place. Work on removing these things from your mind. Thoughts create emotions and emotions create actions. One last thing, the church is scamming you. Sin is not an action. The devil is not a real character. These things are all inside of you. Allegories and myths to represent aspects of your psyche. Symbolism Masterclass is now available, but it's closing soon. Lucifer is Venus. Lucifer in the Bible is the son of the morning, or the morning star. Just before the sunrise every morning, Venus shows up. Venus is the morning star. The 7 planets are 7 spiritual forces that create the physical universe. Saturn rules the roots. The Sun rules the stem. Jupiter rules the fruit. Mercury's the messenger, the intelligence behind the tree. The moon governs the leaves. And Venus governs the beauty, the looks, and the smell of the tree. That's why the sigil of Lucifer is the visual field, because Lucifer or Venus governs the visual aspect of reality. That's why he's known as the light bearer or the false light. Because this world is the false reality, the false light. And the false light can trick you into materialism, pulling you away from your true spiritual form. Lucifer is a metaphor about your consciousness falling for the material plane. The physical world is a veil which can turn you evil, because you are not from here. The Matrix is keeping you in love with the material plane, which leaves you feeling soulless and empty inside. Religions were made to hide the truth about yourself. Every religion has a sacred river. For the Egyptians, it's the river Nile. For the Christians, it's the Jordan River. This river is the human spinal cord. The brain produces cerebrospinal fluid through the pineal and the pituitary gland. When the moon enters your sun sign, the cerebrospinal fluid falls down the spine every month to regulate the systems of the body. Jesus was in Nazareth with Joseph and Mary. Joseph the pineal, Mary the pituitary. Jesus then travels down the Jordan River, your spine, and goes to Bethlehem, your sacrum bone. Joseph and Mary are waiting for Jesus' return, which is the brain waiting for the oil to return back up the spine. And when Jesus returns back up the Jordan River, the spine, to Joseph and Mary, he's crucified in Golgotha, which translates to a place in the skull, at the age 33, because there are 33 vertebrae on the back of your spine. So this process of Jesus is symbolic of raising the cerebrospinal fluid back to your brain. This process activates dormant parts of the brain that were never activated before, making the brain process information quicker and working more efficiently. The whole Bible is a spiritually encoded text on how to reach the higher human potential. The Symbolism Masterclass opens tomorrow. There are limited spaces. If you look at the Matrix, Neo's plugged in on the back of his neck, right into the reptilian brain. This part of the brain doesn't think, just reacts. It's all about survival, running on pure instinct, just like everyone trapped in the Matrix. When Neo is unplugged, he's freed from the reptilian brain. His name Neo represents the neocortex, the part of the brain that allows critical thinking, learning, and expansion. That's the real way of escaping the Matrix, overcoming fear, breaking free from the programming, and activating the higher consciousness. Neo worked at a place called metacortex for a reason. This is all about transcending the lower mind and mastering the self to the higher parts of the brain and human potential. Why is it the ancients were so obsessed with these mythical creatures? A man, an eagle, a bull, and a lion. This is the ancient Sumerians. A man, an eagle, a bull, and a lion. Even ancient Christians are seen with the same symbolism. We even see this on the tarot card as well. The lion is Leo, the man is Aquarius, the eagle an old symbol for Scorpio, and the bull is Taurus. In esoteric teachings, they teach you that you have 4 bodies, not one. You have a physical body, an emotional body, a spiritual body, and a mental body. Taurus is an earth sign, which is the physical body. Leo is a fire sign, which is the spirit. Scorpio is a water sign, which is the emotion. Aquarius is an air sign, which is the mind. These ancient creatures were not real, they're symbolic, and they're showing you the 4 bodies of the soul. Our soul is incarnated into these 4 separate bodies. Hence why Jesus has the 4 Gospels. This mythical creature is not a mythical creature, but a symbol of your soul. The mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, and the spiritual body. The bull, the ox, the man, and the lion, all in one creature, which is the soul incarnated into the 4 bodies. This is why the earth symbol is a cross and with the 4 sections and a circle. I think this is going to change how we see ancient civilizations. They knew the sacred science of the soul. Jesus never died on a cross. It's a symbolic story. Jesus took 5 wounds on the cross and then he ascended to heaven. The 5 wounds represent the 5 senses. These are the 5 ways the soul interacts with matter. In order to reach your higher consciousness, you have to sacrifice the desire of the 5 senses, detaching from the material world. so that we can ascend to our higher consciousness. To prove this, the Bible says the flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God in Corinthians. The body cannot enter heaven, which means your emotion, your mind, and spirit can, which proves heaven is a state of consciousness now. This is why Jesus says, take no thought 5 times in Matthew. Take no thought is meditation. 5 to turn off the 5 senses so that we can connect with the higher consciousness. The word Bible stands for basic instructions before leaving Earth. The whole Bible is an allegorical, spiritual ascension toolbook. This book will help you understand this. Freemasons call themselves traveling men. They move from the west to the east. West, where the sun dies. East, where the sun rises. Symbolic of rising from darkness to light, from death to rebirth, from survival to creation. We've been programmed to stay in survival mode, money, bills, stress, and daily grind. But the true power of the mind isn't just to survive, it's to create. Why do you think the most powerful people, builders of empires, industries, are Freemasons? Because they understand self-mastery. They don't just build structures, they build powerful minds. In Freemasonic paintings, you'll see the images and symbols of tools. These tools are not for construction, but for the transformation of the inner self. They represent the mastering of thought, emotion, and consciousness, building a strong mind, because a chaotic mind cannot create. West to east, left brain to the right brain, logic to creativity, it's all symbolic. Master your mind and you master your reality. Your soul is trapped in the physical dimension if you can't imagine. Imagination is not physical. You can't touch it. It's not made of atoms. It exists in a higher dimension of consciousness. Everything starts in the imagination before it becomes a physical reality. For example, Diddy's house. The design was in someone's vision, mental screen before it was a physical reality. People think that their third eye is open because they feel energy and now they're awake. That's not it. The third eye is your inner screen. If you can't vividly picture a red apple in your mind, you're cut off from the fourth dimension. Activating the third eye means unlocking what Freemasons call the spirit vision. Freemasons know this. They call it the astral plane. Don't you think it's crazy how if you use your imagination nowadays, people say, oh, you're just using your imagination, and they call you crazy? Everything in this dimension was pulled out of the fourth dimension, the imagination. A vision first, then the physical world was just the effect. If you want to reconnect to the fourth dimension, comment ebook and I'll send you a free guide on how to do so. Satan is Saturn, 666, the mark of the beast. On the north pole of Saturn, you have the cube. Add up all the sides, you get 6.6 triangles, 6 sides, 666. We live in a soul system, not a solar system. We start in the stars and then we incarnate through Saturn. Saturn materializes our soul into the 666 carbon suit. All life forms are based on the bonding properties of carbon. 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 666. The body is the beast. The Bible tells you Satan is the god of this world, and he has blinded the minds of those who do not believe. Because when our soul incarnates through these 7 celestial spheres, we forget who we are before this lifetime. The symbol for Saturn is even showing you this. All of the planet symbols are made out of the Holy Trinity, the sun, the moon, and the cross for Earth. The Saturn symbol is the Earth cross and the moon crescent. Earth is matter, moon is mind, sun is soul. The Saturn symbol is showing you Earth over moon, matter over mind, when it should be mind over matter. We incarnate into this world so we can restrict our mind, because in the dimensions of the mind and imagination, we can think and it comes into manifestation instantly. But this plane limits us. Sega Saturn is a game, the Nintendo GameCube. This is why we say think outside the box, because you are not your physical body. And this is the box they're trying to trap us in, the physical dimension. The human body is liquid crystal. There are CIA documents which reveal that. Radios use crystals to pick up frequencies and turn them into sound. Your body works the same way. Your pineal gland has crystalline structures that act like an antenna. Your body is a radio, tuning into the infinite stream of consciousness, the mind of God. We are all God in human form, experiencing life through the illusion of separation. God created the 3D world to experience himself instead of the oneness. You don't need to go to church to connect with God. You are God. The key is going within through breathwork, meditation, and inner awareness. Religion was made to externalize this truth, to keep you away from your own divine power. Don't make this mistake. When I woke up spiritually, I went straight into chakras, energy work, and cleansing my aura. I thought this was the key, but I was wrong. The only thing that truly matters is mastering the mind. When you train your mind, you gain control over your emotions, emotions, your body, and your energy. You don't have to force your vibration to rise or try to balance your chakras. They naturally align when the mind is in check. Don't get lost in the external. Focus on your mind. Once you master that, everything else follows. Your spirit, your body, and your soul will fall into place. Freemasons are satanic according to Christians, yet King James, who commissioned the Bible, was a Freemason. He even wrote a book on demonology, what Christians call witchcraft. So they're believing a book which was written by a Freemason. We live in a scripted reality. The Bible has been altered to match the events playing out today, making it seem like a divine prophecy when it's actually a long-term plan. Revelation, it's not unfolding naturally, it was scripted by those in power. They've been following the plan for generations. So the question is, are you following the script or seeing through the illusion? Orgasms are ruining your life. When you release, you produce dopamine. Dopamine is the brain's reward system. When you release, you get a spike in dopamine, feeling amazing. This tells your body that you have achieved something. Then your dopamine levels plunge. If you have an orgasm every day, then you are tricking your brain and body that you have achieved something, because you're activating the brain's reward system. This is why you feel lazy, tired, and unmotivated to do anything with your life, because your body already feels accomplished and achieved something. When you stop watching these dirty websites, then your brain will start to seek dopamine in other things, like writing a book or making something out your life. Sex is the best possible feeling that the human body can feel, and if you experience this feeling every day, then you will numb yourself to the little things in life that you won't be able to enjoy, because you're giving yourself the epitome of feelings. When you stop watching porn and releasing, your life will change. They've lied to you about geometry. Every frequency has its own geometric pattern. Physical matter is just low vibrating energy at a specific frequency. Everything is vibration, vibrating on a specific frequency, which creates a different geometric pattern. Everything contains geometry. They tell you this is God's mathematical codes behind this reality. The true geometry is within you. Brain is an energy decelerator. Nothing around you is physical, it's energy, and your brain condenses it into a reality that you can interact with. Light enters the eyes, it turns into electricity and goes to the optic nerve to the visual cortex, and it creates an image in the brain. Therefore, you are not in the world is within your brain and body. You're experiencing a simulation by your nervous system. Therefore, geometry is actually your brain's mathematical codes on turning energy into matter. These geometric patterns is basically your brain's way of decoding energy. Nothing is outside of you, and you are projecting this reality, the creator and the programmer. How to enter a meditative state instantly. Get present. Bring yourself into the moment by repeating affirmations. I am here right now. Nothing else matters. Say this for 5 minutes to anchor your awareness. 2. Shift your focus. Direct your attention to the back of the brain or your breath. The back of the brain does not think.
Just hanging around.
So this quiets the mind, allowing your consciousness to expand beyond the clouds of thought and connect with your true self. 3. Breathe with intention. Inhale deeply through the nose, filling your lungs completely. As you exhale, let your breath out slower than you took it in. Do this for 15 or 30 minutes and you'll naturally enter a meditative state. Never breathe through your mouth. This is for emergencies only, and this is what dogs do. Christians have been tricked. Jesus didn't ask to be worshipped. He wanted us to live by his teachings. Turning water into wine wasn't literal. Water is emotion. Wine is transformed emotion. We must transmute our negativity. Walking on water is no different than believing in Santa who drops off presents every year. It's meant to be emotional control. Walking on top of water, our emotion. The world is in chaos because we don't understand the hidden parables. We lack understanding, and this is why we have war, fear, division, and uncontrolled emotions. Stop worshipping. Start embodying his teachings. Belief alone won't save you. You must rise above the low mind. Jesus never existed. The Last Supper is astrology. Each body part is ruled by a zodiac. Aries the lamb rules the head, which is why he's on the head of the table. Taurus rules the neck. He has a very thick neck for Taurus the bull. The next sign is Gemini. Gemini is the two arms, the two twins. That's why his hands are up for the two twins. Next sign is Cancer the crab with pinchers. He's holding a knife for the pincher of Cancer. The next sign is Leo when the sun is powerful, radiant and summer. That's why he's showing dominance with a clenched fist and an elbow on the table. The next sign is Virgo the virgin. He's pointing that there's no Adam's apple. This is a woman of Virgo the virgin. Jesus is the sun, the light of the world, the risen savior, the son of God. He's placed in a triangle to symbolize the sun's rays. One hand up for the daytime, one hand down for the taking away of the sun at nighttime. Libra is when the sun is balanced between summer and the winter. That's why Libra is the balanced scales, and the symbol is a half rising sun. That's why he's holding his arms out balanced. Next sign is Scorpio, with this man pointing upwards. Scorpio is our reproductive sexual organs. He's pointing up because you must raise your sexual energy up to Aries. That's why Aries is an anagram for arise. They're in 4 groups of 3 because there are 3 months in each season: Luke, Mark, John and Matthew. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Jesus is the sun, which is our soul. Spring is our physical body, summer is our spirit, fall is our emotions, winter. Ever wondered why graduates wear this hat? The hat is a square and a circle. The square created by the square, the circle created by the compass, which is the Freemasonic square and compass. The circle is eternal, no beginning, no end. The square creates the square, which is beginning and end. Spirit and matter, mind over matter, the compass over the square. But in this case, we have the square over the circle, which represents matter over the spirit. The graduation cap symbolizes dominance of matter over spirit, representing the conditioning imposed by Saturnic energy. Hence why it's a black cap for the black cube of Saturn. That's why judges wear a black robe, representing reinforcement and limitation. This is not a coincidence. Is university just conditioning to limit the human mind? The Egyptian gods never existed. They symbolize the different body parts of your body. Anubis represents the tongue. He's a dog with the barking because the power of life and death is in the tongue. Falcon of Horus is the inner brainstem. Osiris, the god of death and the underworld. He represents the reptilian brain, hence why he's green and has reptiles next to him. The reptilian brain is when our consciousness exists in death because we don't think. Horus with the circle on his head represents the limbic system in the brain. Amun-Ra is the hippocampus in the brain. Ra is where we get RAM. Computer has a RAM for memory, and the hippocampus in the brain is all to do with memory. This is the Lamb of God. Thoth, the god of wisdom, the one who preserves the ancient wisdom. Ibis bird is the sternum, which is the chest, which contains the treasure, which is our soul, our heart. Our heart contains the sacred knowledge. Sternum protects the heart, the treasure. He preserves the wisdom. The Ankh is the portal into the physical world, the uterus. The Bible even tells you that animals are deeply symbolic. Job 12:7. Ask the beasts of the field and they will teach you, the birds of heaven and they will tell you. Because each animal represents a part of the human experience. Snakes represent the wave of energy. The Egyptians saw each body part had a specific role in the human experience. And these parts of our body are very sacred. If you want to learn more, then read the Book of Wisdom, Volume 2. Elon Musk with the Omega symbol. What does this mean? Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. It represents the end. This is the 24th letter of the Greek alphabet. Last year was 2024. This was the end. 2025 is the new beginning. These are just some of the codes that the elite speak to us through symbolism. Look at the dollar bill. The dollar bill has an omega on it, representing the last physical currency we will have before moving towards a digital currency. They show us these things. Kendrick Lamar with the A on his chain, with the American flag. This has a deep meaning no one has figured out. A represents Alpha, the beginning of the Greek alphabet. Alpha represents new beginnings. Omega represents endings, because it's the last letter of the Greek alphabet. At the end of the show, it said game over, because the old world is now over, and Kendrick Lamar held the ceremony, which is a ritual representing the new beginning of America. This is why the dollar bill has an omega on it, representing the end of fiat currency. This picture is deeply symbolic. Everything they do is code. Elon with the omega representing ending and him waving goodbye, and Trump, which is the new beginning, the alpha with his thumbs up. The new beginning of America, 2024, 24, the 24th letter of the Greek alphabet, omega, the ending. This was the last year. 2025 is a new beginning. Everything is going to be reset. This is just one of my lectures from the new Symbolism Masterclass. In this class, I will teach a limited amount of people every single occult and esoteric symbol one by one and show you real life events. This opens on the 19th of February, 8 p.m. GMT. Join my Telegram or my newsletter in my bio to secure your spot. The spots will go instantly. You will have to be quick. Your head has this spiral, which is the Fibonacci sequence, which comes from the rotating fields of magnetism. Sound creates magnetic fields create electricity. The sound of you talking creates torus fields, which permeates the whole of creation. Everything manifests as a torus field. Literally everything, including yourself. Your heart is a vortex, and the pulsing sound of it creates this electromagnetic torus field around your body. If you looked down on this electromagnetic field, you'd see the flower or the lotus of life, which is the Fibonacci sequence. This field spirals inwards into the head and out on the feet or the torso. If you look down on your head, this is why you see this spiral. It comes from all of the spiraling of your electromagnetic field coming in the head, which is the crown chakra. Look at the symbol for the crown chakra. It's the flower, which has the same pattern as this. Your spirit is a spiral, a spiraling electromagnetic field. The Fibonacci sequence connects the macrocosm to the microcosm because this will go for infinity. This means you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You are God made flesh. You are the universe. Is it just me, or does the world seem as if it's losing its colour? There's even been images of this taken in 2021 compared to 2023. Who remembers seeing the sun as a yellow ball of energy? Now we just have this white light. Like, what are they doing? Personally, I think this is the result of weather manipulation, geoengineering, EMF towers, and pollution. As a child, I remember sitting in nature and you would be covered in insects. Now, when you go into nature, you hardly see any. Let me know if you can relate in the comments. Emojis are demons. Demons are spirits. In magic, you use sigils to invoke spirits and demons. But what exactly is a spirit? A spirit is just a non-physical force or energy. Emotion is energy in motion. Motion is a spirit. Emojis are sigils which invoke specific spirits or emotions. This sigil invokes the spirit of happiness. The spirit invokes the spirit of frustration and anger. Just by looking at these emojis or sigils, they change energy in your consciousness. This is invoking energy within you. A demon is just a negative spirit, a negative emotion which possesses you, possesses your heart and your energy field, making you feel a certain way. You're an electromagnetic being with the power to invoke energy. You lot have been going crazy recently. We're nearly sold out on the Book of Wisdom. There is limited available. This cartoon shows you that you are far more than your physical body. Humanity has lost this ability to activate their spirit or the astral body, fully enslaving us in this physical plane.
Okay. Man, this is screwy. Maybe it's the can of beans we had for dinner. Looks, homey. Whoa. Oh, right.
Did you know doing this gesture is the Antichrist? Performing this produces the upside down cross. So you touch the head down to the heart, then tap both shoulders, which is cutting the connection between the head and the heart. It symbolizes cutting the connection between the mind and the soul. And the soul is pure love. You know when you hurt someone and you can feel that you've done something wrong inside your heart? That's because your soul is encoded with God's law of love. They don't want us connected with our soul intelligence, the intelligence within you that tells you the right thing to do at all times. This is why we say, follow your heart, and that Christ may dwell in your heart, because the heart is the brain for the soul, and the brain is the temple for the mind. The earth needs to connect more with their heart, because love is the unifying force that brings us all together. Did you know baptism is a scam? To trick you and to make you believe that you're going to be saved. And the true baptism happens within you. We have 4 stages of human consciousness. Earth, stage 1. This is when we're in a survival state of consciousness. Water, stage 2. The truth in cleansing. Dunking your head in water is symbolic for cleansing yourself from the survival animalistic state. And once we've cleansed ourselves, we have the fire stage, the awakening, the spiritual awakening. Then once we awaken, we go to the air, stage 4 of self-mastery. Dunking your head in water will not save you from anything. You must save yourself from the lower mind, from the animalistic state of consciousness. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, Corinthians 15:50. It means your body cannot enter the kingdom of God. Your emotions, spirit, and mind can, which means heaven and hell is a mind state, not a real place. Theologians 4:17, you meet the Lord in the air. You meet the Lord in the highest stage of consciousness, the mind, the air, the self-mastery. No man in the sky going to save you. Religion want you to believe this so you give away your power. They don't want you mastering yourself. They want you weak. Find the Book of Wisdom Volume 2 in my bio. Music is magic, putting you in a hypnotic trance so that it can access the back end of your consciousness, the subconscious mind. This is all to do with your memories, programs. This is why you can remember the lyrics so vividly, because everything in the music is made specifically to ingrain your subconscious and mold your consciousness to their agenda. This is why everyone's dressing the same and thinking the same thoughts and into the same interests, because we're all being conditioned through the music. The music has a profound influence over fashion and everything in society. Alcohol means body-eating spirit, al-Kul in Arabic. Vodka is called spirit. Jinn is a jinn, which is another type of spirit in witchcraft. This is where we get the word jinx from. When you jinx something, it means bad luck, because they hide the spiritual planes from you. They want you to believe everything is just physical. Consuming alcohol destroys the connection between your etheric body and allows spiritual entities to attack your chakra system. Alcohol destroys brain cells, which weakens the connection between your mind and brain. All religions condemn alcohol because it originates from witchcraft. When you are really drunk and you don't know what you're doing, this is when you are fully possessed. This stuff is real, people. If you have the ability to astral project, you can literally see these entities for yourself. These open your mind. This attacks you spiritually. Why do you think these are illegal and this is legal? Did you know the sun setting is the symbol for Libra? And the scales of Libra represent the balancing of the sun between the summer and the winter. A yearly cycle is a daily cycle. Spring is the morning, summer is midday, Libra is the evening, winter is the nighttime. And did you know your body is ruled by the zodiac signs? Libra rules your core, and the muscles in your core help anchoring your center of gravity, which gives you the ability to balance yourself, just like how Libra is the balancing scales. There's no way this is all just a coincidence. This is evidence that we live in a beautifully designed world. That the sun's rhythm and balance manifested in your body as the balancing core. And this is why wisdom is wealth. Freemasons wear this symbol, which is the same symbol for Gmail. The G is the Masonic G. The M is for the mother, because the woman holds a portal, a stargate into the physical world. That's why they wear it in the genital area. The mother makes you into matter. All M's. Once you are made into matter in the womb, she then delivers the male. Every single one of us came through the mother into the physical world. That's why they're so important. Feminine, nin is 9. Masculine, lin is line. 1 and 9 adds up to 10, which is the binary code of all creation. 0 is the cosmic womb. 1 is the masculine pillar. These are the only two numbers that truly exist. That's why man adds up to 10, and so does Adam. Because we are made in perfection with the numbers. 6, 9. 6 is physical matter, the cube. 9 is spirit, spirit and matter combined. The woman combines your spirit with your physical body. If you feel lost and don't understand reality, read this book. You need to understand the simulation. Everything you feel is not real, and everything you see is an illusion. Everything you're experiencing is a simulation produced by your nervous system. This laptop is not solid, it's just a bunch of atoms placed together. And the reason my finger doesn't go through the laptop is the electrical fields of the atoms in the laptop are repelling the electrical fields in my finger. What you feel when touching something is your nervous system decoding the electrical waves that you've come into contact with. You're not feeling the external world. You're feeling electrical impulses decoded by your brain. They'll never tell you this, but your brain is an energy decelerator. Everything outside of you is energy. What you see is your brain slowing down this energy outside of you into a visual image that you can perceive. Everything outside of you is fake. Only thing that is real is your consciousness. Material world trick, matrix. Hindus call this Maya, the illusion of the world. Kabbalists call the world the veil that hides your soul. And the reason why the world's so lost and depressed today, because we're looking for ourselves in the outer world. None of the short-term pleasures that the material world offers can ever satisfy your soul. True happiness comes from within. Stop seeking validation in your outer reality. Go within yourself and find happiness within. The solution to the world is meditation. sun is electric, the moon is magnetic. Male and female, fire and water. The sun gives you energy, it's a positive charge. The moon is negatively charged, taking away your energy. Yin and yang. The earth is darkness, it produces no light of its own. All of the light comes from above, from the etheric and astral plane. The earth is matter, above is spirit. The sun is floating because it's in the etheric plane. As above, so below. All the life comes from above. That's why all religions stem back to the worshipping of the stars. Because the material plane is only alive because of the etheric life force. That's why Jesus is the risen savior. He is the sun with the 12 disciples, 12 zodiac signs. And the sun raises every day and saves you. Jesus was not a real person, but an astrological code. This is why the church tells you not to do yoga. The nervous system stores emotional trauma. For example, you're in a car crash. Just before you crash, your body starts to tense up in the anticipation for the impact. The nervous system stores this tension, and your nervous system has stored every sensation you've ever had. Over time, all of these tensions can manifest into a physical problem such as back pain, joint aches, and even disease. Yoga is highly effective from releasing stored trauma from the nervous system before it can manifest into any problems. You know that amazing feeling you get after stretching? That's all of your trauma and negative energy being released from your nerves. Yoga does not open demonic doors into your consciousness. It's just another fear that the church installs to you, so you stop increasing your consciousness. Human is hue-man. Hue is an attribute of a color. Color is light. Hue is light, man is manifested. We are light manifested in physical form. We are holographic electromagnetic beings. Heart rearranged is earth. The heart chakra is green and the earth is green. And the sky is blue and the throat chakra is blue. You're not a body inside of a universe. You are the universe experiencing itself, a microcosm form. Nothing is separate from you. You are all things. Religion has just externalized these teachings. Physical is phi cycle. The phi symbol is the Taurus field. We live in a cycle of an electromagnetic field. Birth, growth, decay, and death. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Morning, afternoon, evening, night. Everything comes out of the ether and returns back to the ether. That's why death has ether within it. Because your soul came through the ether and then you will return back through the ether. Back to your astral light body. Your soul goes back to the ether every night when you go to sleep. That's why sleep is the cousin of death, because sleep is just a microcosm of this macrocosm cycle. Day and night, summer, winter, everything is just a cycle of the atom and how energy works. That's why blood leaves the heart and returns back to the heart. Just like how the heart's energy field leaves the heart and goes back to the heart. The heart is an infinite energy source. Heart rearranged is ether. Your heart speaks the language of the universe, energy. You never actually die, your soul lives forever. However, we need to detach from every addiction we have before we die. Why is it the ancients always wore silver? This is gonna blow your mind. Your brain and your body is a bioelectric system. Your body is basically a technological machine which serves as an interface that allows consciousness to interact with the 3D world. Your body's flow of ions and electrons helps to ensure that your body's bioelectric machinery operates harmoniously and supports vital functions, which is why the ancients wore silver and precious metals, because they enhance the flow of ions and electrons, which can enhance the flow of electricity within your body, making your brain to process information quicker. You are an electromagnetic machine. The human body is a battery. This is why we have to charge ourselves constantly with energy. Silver is said to be one of the best energy conductors. Silver has the ability to minimize electrical resistance, which improves cellular communication and energy flow. This is the original reason why humans used to wear jewelry. Not to enhance our looks, but to enhance the functions of our electrical bodies. If you have neck, wrist, or ankle pain, you would wear a specific metal around this area. Why is it Freemasons always place the East at the top of their artwork? I'm going to decode the symbolism for you. At the bottom of the painting, we have checkered board floors. This is the base. This is the beginning. Black is material. White is spiritual. The physical world is made by spirit and matter combined. This represents the beginning of the Mason's journey when he lives in illusion and identifies himself with the physical body. Now, this is why you see the checkered floor in music all the time, because they're using music to produce illusions. This is a blueprint to produce a temple, and these are the tools to create the temple. Not a physical temple, a temple within our own mind. These tools represent the tools to reconstruct our inner world, to change our belief system, limiting beliefs and mental blockages. We must build a temple in the three aspects of our consciousness: thought, emotion, action. Once we have reconstructed and built a temple of moral law and integrity and changed our belief systems within our own mind and consciousness, we can then start the journey to enlightenment. This ladder is the ladder of climbing to higher consciousness, going from the illusion of the material world up to enlightenment and understanding higher levels of reality. And no, I'm not a Freemason, I've just studied their symbols. When you can read symbolism, it will change your life. They are trapping your soul in the earth. It's a soul system, not a solar system. We start in the stars and we descend through the 7 planets, which give you the 7 chakras, the 7 colors, 7 days of creation, the 7 days of the week, Saturday for Saturn, Monday for the moon, Sunday for the sun. This is where we come from, unconditioned consciousness. Our consciousness falls and conditions into these states to be created in this world. Each one of us is a star. Hue, man, light manifested in physical form. That's why we say sister, mister, monster, stir is star. And when you're famous, you're a star. Ancient paintings of Jesus show a star being descended down. Now you know the real reason why Paramount show the stars descending down, going to the mountain. Freemasons show the path back to the stars. Each one of us is God experiencing himself in a divided state. But the archons in this world brainwash your mind to trap your soul in here. When you learn the language of symbolism, your life will completely change. The Twin Towers are an 11. Flight 11 was hijacked. New York is the 11th state. There were 11 crew members on the flight. 9/11 adds up to an 11. New York in gematria adds up to 111. Freemasonic pillars are an 11. With the black and white checkered board, black and white add up to 11. 11, 11. Black is matter, white is spirit. Was this just a Masonic ritual? I'm not making any claims, but I'm just pointing things out. Did you know the only difference between water and ice is a state of vibration? Now think of your desired reality. Only difference between your desired reality and your current circumstances is a state of consciousness. You can become the reality you want before you physically have it. If you observe closely, it's not actually the job that you hate. It's the emotion, the thoughts, and the state of consciousness that job makes you feel. Therefore, it's not the job that you want to change, it's the state of consciousness. By using our thought, emotion, and imagination, we can become the reality in a state of consciousness before physically having it, and watch your outer world rearrange itself to match your new state. Think about this. Your life is a direct correlation of every thought you thought in the past, which means your world is an externalization, a materialization of your thoughts and mind. Most people live in a cycle of the external world manipulating their inner world, not realizing their inner world is projecting the outer, which produces a cycle of constant negative manifestation. But when we stop, when we change our inner world and we act, think, feel as if we are already living from the wish fulfilled, that's how we produce effect in the material world. Did you know your heart is not actually a pump? The heart is in the shape of a chestahedron, a 7-sided shape where all of the surface areas are the same. Placing a chestahedron in water creates a vortex in the water, and your heart tissues is in a vortex spiral. Your heart is actually one muscle but wrapped in a spiraling vortex form. This is because your heart is a vortex energy generator. Blood enters the heart and creates a vortex spiral inside of the heart. Your heart turns water in the blood into plasma, the 4th state of water, which they'll never tell you about. Plasma makes up approximately 55% of your blood. The earth is electromagnetic. The reason why heart rearranged is earth is because the heart takes the electromagnetic energy of the earth and turns this into plasma in the blood to run the physical body. Your heart is directly connected to the universe, to the electromagnetic energy of the earth. This is why we always see Jesus pointing at his heart. Your heart is inside of the chest. This is where the treasure is, inside of the heart. Your heart contains 40,000 neurons, which is the exact same cells in your brain. The heart is the emotional brain which gives you guidance. It tells you what is right and what is wrong. This is why we say follow your heart. Ever wondered why your middle finger is considered swearing? There's a hidden element that they've hid from you called ether. 5 points on the body, 5 elements. 5 fingers, 5 elements. They demonized your middle finger because it's ether. But what exactly is the ether? Ether is like the blueprint to all physical creation. They covered up the ether by calling it dark matter. It's where all energy comes from and returns back to. Think of it as an eternal water of life feeding everything with energy. Yes, the ether can provide free 0-point energy, but that is not the biggest secret. The biggest secret about the ether is that our minds can manifest whatever we project into it into a reality. This is what the Matrix is showing you with these codes. You can change the codes to reality by changing your inner consciousness. The ether acts as a barrier from the imagination plane astral into the physical plane. Just look at the words that we use. Together. Ether. There's so much more that goes into this. Make sure to follow me. Today is a full moon, and this is why I don't eat or scroll on my phone on this day. The sun is our conscious mind. The moon is our subconscious mind. Just like the moon phases have these cycles, so does our consciousness. We go through mood swings and different emotions and thoughts all the time. If you didn't already know, your subconscious mind controls 90% of your daily basis thoughts and actions. The new moon is when your subconscious mind is mainly closed. However, a full moon is when the subconscious mind is more accessible during this phase. This is the best time to reprogram your subconscious and break your old habits. I don't do anything that is highly addictive on this specific day. Instead, I use my conscious mind to think, feel, and imagine my specific reality that I want on this day. And this will impress this reality on my subconscious. And my subconscious will start to believe I've already got the reality, which will then create effect in my external reality. This is why you always see witches with a full moon behind their head, because this is the best time to do a ritual of implanting new seeds into your consciousness so they can grow into a beautiful reality. And this is also the reason why you always get good ideas at nighttime, because the daytime is survival mode, it's conscious. The nighttime's our subconscious, imagination. I found some secret codes in the Bible. The Bible contains numerology, and in Revelation 14, it states 144,000 will go to heaven. 144 adds up to 9. The 9th letter in the English alphabet is I. God's name Yahweh means I am. This is our body. I is our consciousness. 9 is the number of consciousness. Let's take it deeper. A lamb standing on Mount Zion. Lamb represents Aries. Aries rules the head, and this is the lamb horns in our brain. Holy Mount Zion is our spine. The lamb is on top of Mount Zion with the 144,000, which is 9, which is consciousness. And they had the Father's name written on their forehead. Our forehead is where our consciousness is. 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth represent the ones who found their consciousness. 144,000 sang a new song. New song is a new state of awakened consciousness. Sing a new song, awaken to your consciousness, not your body. Heaven is a state of consciousness. This book will literally tell you everything. This sign is not the devil horns. It's the moon crescent. Moon is mood, which is emotion. The moon crescent on top of the head symbolizes emotion ruling over our mind, our body, our life. Devil is red because the red is the lowest vibrational color. And this is you when you are operating your life in your animal nature. The devil is the ground animal, the lower self. The bird is the angel, which is the higher self. See the man standing on the moon. This represents conquering the emotion, and they no longer govern your life. Your emotions change all the time, and this is symbolized as the moon phases. Money rules your emotions, and this is why money has moon within it. A demon is actually your emotions. God and the devil exist within yourself. It's a battle between your higher mind and lower mind, between the 5 senses and your mind, your consciousness. Religion has externalized the truth, so they keep you in your animal nature. There's a secret code behind every ancient Christian painting. You're probably not going to be a Christian after watching this. When we add spheres to each one of these points on this Holy Trinity painting from the 1600s, what it actually shows is the Kabbalah tree. This is literally undeniable. You cannot not see it once you see it. Religious texts are encoded esoteric scriptures. In fact, every religion we have today stems back to the secret teachings of the Kabbalah. You think you're the body. We are not our body. We are not our thoughts. We are the soul. We have a soul, mind, and body. Jesus is the body. The Father is the mind. The soul is the Holy Spirit. I've noticed something a bit strange about these LA fires everyone's been tagging me in. The first weird thing that I noticed is that insurance companies dropped fire coverage 3 months before the fire started. And many people have reported electrical wires from the power grid causing these fires. And of course, the water supply has been cut off. And don't you think it's a bit weird in this picture that all of the trees stay standing but the houses aren't? Of course, this is for educational purposes only, and I'm not claiming anything. And then we go to Google and type in 2028 Smart LA City. What a coincidence they want to build a smart city in LA. And of course, it's a lot easier to build a whole city if there's no buildings there. Of course, this is just for educational purposes only, and I hope everyone is safe over there. Thank you. Dreams carry secret messages, and you can take advantage of them. You have two minds, a conscious and a subconscious. When we sleep, we move from the conscious into the subconscious, moving from the physical into the astral. The astral plane is the imagination, a screen we have in our mind, and our subconscious stores every belief and memory. The people in your dream are not real people. Dreams are materializations of your subconscious mind. Every person you meet and every place you go are a materialization of your beliefs and memories. So if you have a nightmare, this is just a materialization of your negative thoughts and worries. For example, if a Christian has a dream and he sees Jesus in his dream, this was not Jesus. It was his subconscious belief materializing in the astral plane. Write down your dreams every time you have one, and you can start to see what your subconscious is trying to show you, and you can take advantage of this. But whatever you do, never look into a mirror in a dream. Adam and Eve is a sexual story. When we are born, we have a pure consciousness, and we have no ability to reproduce life. As we grow older, we gain the power of creation. Our sexual energy is activated and turning us into an adult. We gain the ability to produce life, and this sacred power can be misused as it is a sacred force within you. Eve is feminine, she's the emotion. Adam is masculine, he's the action. The serpent is the deceiving sexual urge. This is a symbolic story of how we lose pure consciousness and we gain the consciousness of good and evil. Our consciousness splits into the ego and the shadow, into the higher and the lower self. But this is not bad. It's a natural cycle of human consciousness. But we need to wake up from it and find our way back to the Garden of Eden. Don't lose yourself in material lust and material pleasures. They'll leave you feeling empty and unsatisfied. Instead, save your sexual energy, master your mind and control your emotions. And don't let external things control your inner world. And that's how we find our way back to the Garden of Eden, reaching a pure state of consciousness. Meanwhile, knowing the knowledge of good and evil. The Bible is the greatest psychological text ever written. The number one mistake people make is that they take people's hate personally. You must understand that people's hateful comments are just reflections of their negative state of mind, their negative state of consciousness. I'm hated by millions of people, and if I took it personally, I wouldn't be here today. Please don't let other external things manipulate your internal world. If you can change your inner world to feel a certain thing, you can produce effect on your outer world. So don't let no one change your inner world. Have an amazing day. There's a secret meaning behind 666. 666 is 3 sixes. 3 represents the 3 aspects of creation and consciousness. Thoughts, emotions, and actions. These 3 things have created your life. This is where it gets scary. The number 6 represents the cube. And this material world is created in cubes. Forwards, down, up, backwards, left, and right. 6 represents the material world. 666 represents your thought, emotions, and actions all going towards your material body and material pleasure. Cutting yourself off from spirituality. Red is the slowest vibrational frequency, and it represents chaotic and intense emotions like hate and anger. You are the devil. It's not a real person. It's the lower aspects of the human mind. The voice we hear in our head that tells us to do bad things is not the devil. It's an aspect of your mind. He has a goat head. Goats are ground animals. They represent the lower self. Angels have wings, which represent the higher self. Religions were made to hide the truth about yourself. Jesus never turned water into wine. This is going to blow your mind. Jesus spoke all things to the crowd in parables. Matthew 13:34. It's a symbolic and allegorical story about you turning water into wine. Fire is masculine, water is feminine. Masculine is intellect, feminine is emotion. Water is symbolic for emotion. Thoughts are the language of the mind. Emotion is the language of the soul. Emotions are communication from your soul. If you are jealous of someone, this is your soul telling you where you need to be in life. Every fear you have is showing you an obstacle for you to grow, to expand into your life purpose. Water into wine, symbolic in turning negative emotions into growth and expansion, transmuting hate into love, jealousy into your reality. Jesus represents you, a manifestation of God's consciousness in physical form. Jesus tells you, whatever I can do, you can do better in John 14:12. Jesus is you. Baptism is symbolic of moving from earth into water, the second stage of consciousness, truth. Dunking your head in water won't do anything. Baptism happens within. We are not in 2025. Month comes from the word moon, moonth. The moon has a 28-day moon cycle. 365 divided by 28 is 13. 13 lunar cycles every year, which means our calendar has a missing month, which means we don't know what year we're actually in. This is gonna blow your mind. The sky is a clock. The sun tells the time of the day. The moon tells the day of the month. The stars tell you the month of the year. The sky above our head is intelligent. Everything on earth is matter. Everything above us is spirit. That's why they're floating. They're not rocks you can land on. The Gregorian calendar was made for slaves. Calendar comes from calends, the first day of the month the Romans had to pay off their debt. So what does all of this actually mean, and why did they do it? They made this fake calendar to cut off our connection with our celestial intelligence above and keep our mind, body and spirit out of rhythm with these cycles. We must live in harmony with the cycles above us. You can create abundance in your life with using the moon to your advantage. All of my students know that. 3 meals a day is keeping you stuck in your lower 3 energy centers, trapping your body in survival mode. It's important that we fast. When we fast, our body starts to eat itself and kill all the bad cells. If you have issues with your body, listen up. If you cut your finger, your body heals it and produces a scab. If we keep picking the scab, it will never heal. Your body's issue is not healing because it's fighting off the toxins that you place in it every single day. Instead of fighting the problem with your body, it's fighting off the poison you keep placing in it. If you avoid unnatural food, the body will then start to fight off the problem that's already in it. This is why fasting is important. Our digestion uses a lot of energy. Fasting allows the energy used for digestion to be redirected to fight off the problem. The human body is made with self-regenerating technology. If you want to heal fast, cut out all the unnatural GMO foods and go on an alkaline diet. P.S. This is not health advice, this is what I do personally.